is yours.
Thank you. Sorry, Sutte Hakkun is like probably the best pronounced this is ever gonna be. So this is Sutte Hakkun. And it's a Game Boy Color game, which probably not a lot of people have ever seen before. It's actually based off a Satellaview game. And I will do something really quickly, but I am Dave, and this is my girlfriend, Kat Kunuichi, and you can probably talk really quickly, because I'm going to do something very quick.
What are you supposed to do?
I'm going to write hi chat. We have like this. There we go. Hi chat. We see you.
Well, we have a Mario Paint feature into this fantastic game.
Yes, we do. Alright, we're good to go. So, I guess we'll get right into it. We'll count down 3, 2, 1, go. Timing starts after I say obviously go. So we'll say 3, 2, 1, go. So, this is, I guess, the Satellaview game. It's actually a Game Boy Color game, anyway, based off the Satellaview game that not a lot of people know about. Maybe you want to tell everybody kind of what's going on here.
Yeah, what even is Satellaview anyway? Because I had no idea before you even told me that thing existed. So
it was the Japanese add-on in the Super Nintendo era where you could like download a bunch of stuff. It was like a satellite-based thing. And this game came out on the Satellaview, but yeah, it didn't really get a good reception. And it's basically kind of like a mixture between, I would say, like Keizaron and precision platforming. It's really weird because like a lot of levels actually require very precise movements, but at the same time, like if you don't do it properly, you can kind of softlock yourself. It is devilishly hard. The Game Boy version is a little bit easier than the Satellaview, like the Super Nintendo version. But just in general, it moves pretty quickly. The basic idea is you have like these little ink blocks. We don't know the duck's name. We think it's possibly like Suck Duck, but that's probably wrong. We'll call him Suck Duck anyway. And yeah, as I said, this moves. Yeah, it could be. It moves really quick. The basic mechanics is there's like these blocks that are invisible that you can't really see because this is a Super Game Boy 2. And there's 3 different kinds of colors. There's red, blue, and yellow. And red moves it up and down, blue moves it left and right, and yellow moves it diagonal. So this whole kind of like category is routed. We don't really use the blocks. Like you'll see this one's supposed to be yellow if you play it on a Game Boy Color, so it moves a block like this. But out of the 50 stages in this category, 49 are routed that you pretty much skip, you know, like a big majority of all the levels and stuff like that. So you don't really see like the intended puzzle solving aspect of this game. But yeah, you can never make that jump. I don't know why I tried to jump up there. So in terms of the story that's going on, there's a wizard, and apparently he like attended a festival that this little duck went to, and he stole his staff, I guess. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. And I'll actually show the next cutscene coming up. Just, you know, like a couple of seconds of it. To show you. Sutte is like pretty angry at this wizard. Like he really wants his staff back. And you'll see here. We'll show the cutscene, I guess, in the next level. For at least a second anyway. You can see how mad this little duck is that he wants his staff back.
Rightfully so.
There you go. There's this evil wizard, you see him, and that staff. And then look, watch how angry the duck is.
Ouch.
Yeah, that probably hurt actually. Look at him, man, he's angry! Okay, cutscene over. We gotta go. Oh, it's a hummingbird. It's a hummingbird. I saw that in chat.
It is a hummingbird.
That's amazing. We saw that in chat. It's a hummingbird. So maybe you can talk about like level 3 and 4 specifically, and I guess like leading into 5, because 1 and 2 really isn't super hard for strats or anything like that.
Yeah, I guess the first two stages anyway, 1 and 2, are, I mean, pretty understandably so anyway, the easiest ones, so they move pretty quickly. And stage 3, I guess it's where things kind of get a little bit more complex in terms of puzzle resolution and just platforming too, honestly. So apparently, and I was asked to point this out, stage 3-1, which we just passed anyway, is the only stage which is a night stage.
Yeah.
So everything else in this world anyway, World 3, is like a dawn kind of setting. So the only night stage is apparently 3-1. And then after that, the sun kind of starts rising. And that's what you can kind of see in the background of this stage anyway. So where are we? Like 3-4 maybe, or 3-5? I lost the count of the stages anyway.
I actually don't know what they are.
Yeah, because you basically only see, and this is also something to point out, I guess, you only see for basically 2 frames at the bottom of the screen when you enter the stage, the number of the stage. So it's like you either have, I don't know, hawk vision or something, or you're going to miss it. But it's interesting how within the game, there's a time attack kind of mode built in. So you're basically, the game is keeping track of how fast you're completing each stage. So that's also interesting. So you can also see not just the stage number at the beginning of the level, but you can also see how quickly you've ever completed that stage, I guess. But that's something it's like a speedrun within a speedrun, so that's interesting.
It does actually keep track of like your best times, which is kind of unheard of for a Game Boy Color game back then. I can't think of another Game Boy Color game anyway that did that.
Yeah, I mean, that's also something to point out, I guess, because it's basically custom in puzzle games to have some form of time attack mode or something that tracks you, but not in Game Boy games. I'm not quite sure, honestly. So 4-1, apparently, and again, this is something else that I was told, literally, to put into the notes, how 4-1 is, again, pretty hard. Apparently, we hate this stage. We don't like this stage. But that's also a reason, because it requires a pretty precise block placement within the wall, so within the environment, so that you can kind of pick it back up on the other side and again past it. This is 4-3, if I don't go wrong. So you're kind of having to manipulate the cycle of these blocks. There you go, see?
Oh man, the duck. Good job, duck. Or hummingbird, I'm sorry.
Duck. Yes, it's not a duck, it's pretty much a hummingbird.
Can we compromise and call him like a humming duck?
That's a horrible idea, so I don't vouch that at all.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No,
yeah, that strat was actually probably one of the harder ones in the first 50 levels, where you like wrap around the block like that. So the fact that
it's like the test jumps in Batman.
Yes. Actually, yes. So the fact we got it first try is good. There's going to be a couple hard strats that I go for, and they're all in Act 4 and 5 in the first 50 levels.
So yes, this is a pretty straightforward one. You just use the diagonal function of the ink, and then you're out. So this is scary because at the bottom of the level there's a giant pit. So if you fall, it's death, like for sure. So you have to start over the level. But we're moving along pretty nicely, so no problem.
Hardest strat, we're going for it. No, we gotta bail.
Yeah, there's a way you can kind of skip a cycle of this block moving back and forth if you're fast. So, but, no, safety first. So we don't do that.
Maybe the second hardest strat in first 50 levels. So.
Yeah. So here we're just using these blocks as stepping platforms, and we're out. This one again, we just need to switch stuff around. Put the ink back. This is going to become a nice elevator on the right side of the level. And we are through. Almost. There you go. And this is World 4. So in World 5, they're starting to introduce, as you can see anyway, these little platforms who are basically like down pointing arrows. So intuitively, these are for forcing you into only one direction. So you can fall through those down arrows, but you cannot jump through. So it's one direction only. It's only transparent in one direction. So they are quite an inconvenience because further in this world anyway, World 5, there's going to be something that we decided to call burp jails. And basically, they're going to trap you inside of it. So if you're not careful enough and if you're not fast enough using these these blocks like platforms to kind of jump through these down pointing arrows, then you're kind of getting stuck. And this is a good example because in the center of the stage, there's this massive square, like rectangle. I'm not even sure. And if you're not fast enough with your jumps, you're kind of getting stuck in there. And if you do, that's it. So we're taking things very safe.
Sure, man.
We don't want to get stuck.
Wind up in jail.
Absolutely not.
This bird does not live a life of crime, okay?
No, I mean, and yeah, not really. I guess the wizard was the one who stole the staff anyway, so...
Yeah, we need wizard jails for the wizard.
Yeah, there you go.
So this is the only stage out of the first 50 levels in this game that's probably how you have to do it, developer intended. Like, there's no way. You see, like, that little pit at the very beginning, you think, oh, you can jump across it. No, you can't, actually. So you're forced to walk, like, this really weird path around there. Oh, we're dead. this
is
level?
another test jump instance.
Yeah, it's a very tight jump there. Okay, hardest strat. Can we first try? Do you believe?
Yeah, we do.
Oh no!
Ah, ouch.
Ah. Oh, platform, please.
There you go.
Oh, no! Okay, we get it.
Fourth attempt, but we made it through. That's all that matters, man.
But we didn't die. We made it.
Exactly. We took it safely. We tried and we tried and we tried and we tried, and then we succeeded. That's okay. So we are at, what was that, 5-5, 5-6?
Yeah, I think it's about halfway through.
Yeah, I think we are halfway through stage 5 anyway. So we're using again blocks as elevators, because we like to do that apparently. And then as platforms, because we don't like to get stuck under down pointing arrows.
Ooh, no bird jail yet. So this level, you can soft lock yourself in like probably 6 or 8 different ways. Like, it's actually pretty ridiculous. The timing will come up when we show that time, but this is the final level in 50, so...
Yeah, this is a rough one. You require, well, first of all, a good memory, because all these blocks need to be placed exactly in these places and not anywhere else, because otherwise, you, as you were saying anyway, you kind of get stuck, and we don't really want to do that. That's another burp jail instance.
In time. No bird jail!
So, there you go. We escaped bird jail. That's all that matters, man.
Unfortunately, this is not the full category, so the wizard escapes with the staff.
And we will never know if we actually get the stuff back.
Yeah. So, I guess to quickly wrap things up, to put kind of like a little serious note that was on my mind, I actually lost my dad to cancer this September in 2022. So I think my final notes, considering this is for Prevent Cancer, would be to hug your parents, because cancer comes quick and it definitely doesn't care. And thank you to Kat, my girlfriend, because she's just amazing in every single way.
No, but it's okay.
Yeah, I think that's it, unless you have final words. So.
No, I think we're good. I guess there's no, I don't know, no progressing into this game, because apparently after a while stages become extremely difficult. So we're presenting I guess, halfway through the game kind of category for convenience reasons. And also, I guess it was the first episode that was released on Satellaview originally, 50 levels, so it kind of makes sense.
No. Thank you, GDQ, for having us back, and I guess that's it.
You're most welcome, and thank you so much. That excellent run, Junkyard Dave. Sutte Hakkun, Hakkun, there you go. 50 levels in under 13 minutes. Amazing display there during the run. We had one donation come in here from Miri in the amount of $250 saying, Dave and I have somehow known each other for years now. He's always been a kind friend and a joy to be around. I'm looking forward to all the future runs of Super Mousetrap Galaxy Hotel and other Zelda content. Thank you, GDQ, for creating such an inclusive pace for an amazing cause. And there'll be more great runs coming up next, right after this break. And next up here at AGDQ, we have another interview for you. Keizaron, let's hear it.
Hello, AGDQ 2023 online. It's Keizaron here, and I'm joined by probably someone who plays almost, if not more, bad games than I do. The Boyks himself. Boyks,
how's it
been a long
going?
time since I got to talk to you. How have you been?
I've been doing great. Love GDQ. Glad to be back.
It's awesome to have you back. Now, What are you playing? What can't you just play like a Metroid or something? Like what is it? Give me the rundown.
I mean, okay, so sometimes you need to speedrun a PlayStation 2 arcade port of a light gun game from Namco that's not very well known and is full of Blade and Matrix influences, right? Like, that's the classic video game that people think about when they think of speedruns.
Yes, I bet you there's at least one other person that is watching this that will heavily agree with that. So I got to ask, memes aside, what drew you to this?
I legitimately love light gun games. When I was a kid growing up, I would go to the arcade and I would spend all my quarters on Time Crisis 2, House of the Dead,
Fun.
Area 51, maybe not as good, but I would still play it. And
I have a soft spot for Area 51, I gotta admit, but please continue.
And so that love of those arcade games carried over to when I could purchase my own consoles when I grew up, and I bought PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2, oddly enough, has a very good light gun library, specifically with the Gun Con 2. So I carried that over to speedrunning, because of course I would. Now
I recall that you had done this for One and Done-a-thon, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And how did that go?
I think the run went well. It was well received. People had a really good time. That's the important thing. This isn't really... Here's the thing. So light gun speedruns aren't necessarily about strats. You're not going to be clipping through a wall. You're not going to be doing a cool trick. But you are going to go shooty blam a lot. And sometimes your gun goes shooty blam, and that's also cool. So
now we were talking about this before we started the interview, and this is kind of like a decent segue into it. We were talking about how, like, if you want to speed run, it doesn't necessarily have to be something flashy.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of the games that you've done might not necessarily be like the most technical, not to downplay how good you are at video games, to be clear, but like they're not exactly the most technical or flashy things, but they are things you can go in fast and still be able to play a game beyond a casual scope. Is there anything that you'd like to share with anyone out there that may want to get started?
Yeah, literally the only thing you have to do to get into speedrunning is to turn on a game and play it fast. It doesn't have to be good. And if you have that intention and you start, you're already there. So that can also go to on-rails games. My first speedrun that I literally ever learned was Pokemon Snap. And that game is almost entirely just about the on-rails experience. However, you're also looking down at the ground to try and not look at Pokemon, because Pokemon slow the game down. And the entire speedrun is based around just trying your hardest not to look at anything in a photography game, which is very funny. So
It's pretty ironic.
Carrying that over, like, you can speedrun anything. That's great, and I love that, and I love showing that off.
Now, a couple more questions for you real quick before I let you go and get ready for your run. What's the Leon Kennedy look going on over here?
The Leon. Okay, so I don't have vampire hunting gear from the early 2000s that you would see in a Blade movie, so I went with the next best thing. So I guess we're Leon Kennedy tonight, and that's just going to be it. So, you got to do what you got to do.
It's a close enough homage. And speaking of homage, and this isn't even a homage, I don't know why I think it's a segue. I wanted to bring up something with you that happened 5 years ago. I sent a social media question to you. You were having an interview with Spike, and it was the dumbest question I could have possibly asked. And I'm sure there's maybe 5 people at most currently watching that may remember this because of some off chance. But I asked you, when is Animorphs? And I got to get my Animorphs plug in at least once every GDQ. So You did it. You done it. What did you think?
I did learn Animorphs. I spent the time to learn Animorphs. And I'm not going to say I completed a run of Animorphs after I learned Animorphs, but I tried about 50 times to do Animorphs. And all I have to say is, Animorphs is very hard, and anybody on the planet who has finished an Animorph speedrun is very good at video games.
All right, so the moral of this interview is play Vampire Knight like Boyks and don't play Animorphs. You're going to do great I really, really, really hope I never coerce you into playing another terrible game again. You do a good job on your own. So
That's true.
yeah, stay tuned, folks. Boyks is going to kill it. Vampire Night's going to be a fun time, and we will see you all on the other side.
And thank you for that awesome interview. Now it's time to hear more from Boyks as we take you on a run of Vampire Night. Take it away, Boyks.